Welcome back to the Sully Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have another great review for all y'all people that decided to watch today. It is this right here, Four Roses Bourbon. Alright, this is some stuff I've been looking at wanting to try for a little bit. I've seen it a lot in like the whiskey Facebook groups I'm in and everything like that. And I've always heard it has high money flavor profiles for low money price. It's very high quality bourbon for the price. From everything I have heard on, Facebook groups and everything like that I'm in and talking to people and all that, I've heard it's a very, very delicious thing. But we are going to try it for ourselves and find out for sure. But I'm very excited about it. Been wanting to try it for a little bit. Finally, figured, you know what, might as well go get myself up a bottle. It was on sale. It's like, hey, can't lose with it at the price I got it for. So we are going to try it right here. But obviously, before we crack it open and pour ourselves a cup, we got to go over the details of the Four Roses Bourbon. Alright, so it MSRPs at about $22, but typically it's going to be between $22 and $25, somewhere in that range. It is 40% alcohol, coming in at 80 proof, so on the higher end of our typical spectrum, but nothing out of this world, nothing crazy unique or anything like that. Now, being Four Roses Bourbon, you might think, does it taste like flowers? Does it smell like flowers? And believe it or not, it actually does smell like flowers. The flavor profiles we have on this bourbon, we have fruit, floral essence, okay, like the smell of flowers, alright. We have gentle spice, so not strong spice. I'm guessing they mean like, it's not like rye spice, but it's a little bit of a kick in there, maybe a little pepperness or something like that. So some gentle spice and some honey, okay, so I feel like fairly basic flavors, but you could do a lot with, I feel like fairly basic smells, but they should be smelling pretty good, I mean, flowers smell good. Honey, most of the time, smells good. I feel like sometimes honey smells kind of weird. Each honey's different, so I feel like some honeys smell very weird. But hey, each to them, each to them. But the tasting notes on this bourbon, it's going to be crisp, okay? It's going to be soft and smooth. You should get some fresh fruit along with a little bit of apple and a little bit of pear. Now, I'm a little confused on those first two. I don't understand how something can be crisp, but also soft. I feel like if it's crisp, then it's like, like crisp, like whatever. Like crisp, think of like what noise you hear. You hear crisp, a sound comes with it, right? That's like crisp. Okay, soft and crisp aren't really the same thing. But I trust that they know what they're talking about. Okay, so we're going to try it out and see if they can combine crisp and soft. But I'm not convinced they can. But there's only one way to find out, and that's staying tuned. And we'll try it right after the finishing notes. So the finish on this bourbon should be mellow, long, and pleasant. Okay, so luckily the finish isn't going to be terrible, according to them. Of course, why would they put the finish to be terrible? Obviously, who knows if the finish is going to be pleasant or not. But it should be at least mellow and long. Alright, so let's go ahead and crack this sucker open. And listen to that cork right now. Pour some up. Why am I pouring with the wrong hand? That's kind of weird. Let's go ahead and smell it and see if we get some of those floral essence, maybe a little gentle spice. Let's see what we get in there. I feel like I actually can smell some honey and some floral essence and probably a little bit of spice. It kind of has a smell like, a very soft, faint smell like a rye whiskey has. Rye whiskey smells like that because it's spicy. At least that's what I think my flavor chamber profile of memories. That's what I have it calculated and filed under and everything. But it smells very good. It definitely smells neat and flowery and different. It's very different than most of your bourbons where like, oh, it smells like smoke and oak and maple and man, It's very different from that. It seems like a very, honestly, it does seem like a nice, mellow, calm, relaxing type bourbon, if you know what I'm saying. But let's go ahead and give it a sip and see if any of our predictions are accurate. So first off, the finish. They nailed the finish pretty well. It's very long. It's still, like, I can still feel it. However, it's like almost perfect. It's pleasant. It's perfectly pleasant. Okay? Because it starts, you know, at the very back of, or the very top of my throat, you know. It's fairly strong. I wouldn't say too strong, but I would say brinking too strong. Like, as close to too strong as you can get without being too strong. Okay? But as the wonderful bourbons flow down my throat and into my stomach and, you know, down the whole trail of things that it goes down whenever I drink it, it slowly kind of lightens up a little bit, and it gets a little bit easier to deal with, and doesn't bite quite as much, and it just becomes warming and, you know, kind of right about there in your heart, stomach area over here, you know. It just gets nice and warming and pleasant and pleasing, and just, it really is very good. And it is long, but I kind of enjoyed that this time. Typically, I don't like a long finish on a bourbon. You know, once I drink it, I want to taste it, I want to feel it, swallow it, move on to the next sip, you know? But I kind of like this long finish, because like I said, it does warm you up and it makes you feel good. I feel like it's fairly spicy, especially at the front. And I know your taste buds, at least if I remember correctly from like the 5th grade, you know, your taste buds taste different things in different spots. Like spicy on the tip of your tongue, sweet in the back of your tongue, salty's on the left, bitter's on the right, you know, something like that. So I don't know, I feel like most of the time the spiciness is on the very tip of my tongue. So I wonder if that's where your spicy flavor buds are, or if that's just something else and I'm making it all up. Who knows? But I would say it's kind of spicy, but not like terrible. Just like a little pepperiness to it, almost. Probably a little bit of fruit. I detect the tiniest bit of wood. You know, there's still some basic bourbon flavors, but they're definitely kind of in the back, not really making much noise, just kind of standing there like, hey, I was still aging in a barrel, but, you know, I'm not really brought out that well. But spice and a tiny bit of fruitness is what I'm really mainly picking up from this. Okay? It's not bad though. Overall, it's pretty good. But let's go ahead and dump some ice in here. See if anything has changed. See if it gets better, worse, sideways, up, down, left, or right. There's only one way to find out, and that is to stay tuned. We'll be right back now. Let's go ahead and try this on some ice. Obviously, the finish, the bite, all that, as always will be when you put stuff on ice, got cooled down, watered down a tiny bit, not much, but I mean it does get watered down some. And it really mellowed out to a point now that it is fairly unnoticed. It's not unnoticeable. It's fairly weak. It's definitely not as good as it used to be. As far as the flavors go, I feel like now it's really just become fairly basic. Spicy, you know, that like original, that bold flavor of the spice. There was a main flavor when it was neat. I feel like now it's just basically become the main flavor. And even then, it's really not even super powerful. If you really focus on it, you can probably pick up some fruitiness in there, but it really has become very basic, nothing special type of whiskey that it's good. It's not bad. It's just it's kind of taken away everything that makes Four Roses special. I feel like the ice has kind of taken that away now. It's just another bourbon, you know. I would definitely say, I don't want to say that it's a ton better neat, because it really wasn't anything amazing to begin with. It was good, but it wasn't anything amazing to begin with. So I won't say it was like a ton better, but it was definitely, what would be a good way of saying it? More complex, probably. If you like the flavors of Four Roses, probably wouldn't put it on ice. If you don't like the flavors of Four Roses, but you bought yourself a bottle, put some ice in it, and you'll be able to drink it without knowing it's Four Roses, most likely. So overall, I'm going to go with like 2 on ice, 3. We'll go 2.5 on ice, and a 3 neat. So a total of a 5.5. Because like I said, it is good, but it's nothing special, you know? It's kind of just run-of-the-mill, basic stuff. It's unique. I'll say that. It's unique, but it's nothing crazy good. It's nothing over the top. Nothing to really brag about too much. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Sully Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment on this video. If there's anything you want me to try, leave it down in the comments. You know, any kind of whiskey, vodka, tequila, any kind of liquor or beer even. Let me know if you want me to try it. Drop it down in the comments. If I can find it and afford it, I will pick some up and put it here on the show so that you don't have to spend your hard-earned money on it before getting my review that you obviously care so deeply about. So comment on this video if you have anything like that. Like it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Go check out some of my other videos. Stay tuned for some more upcoming ones. And as always, keep drinking. Cheers.